Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today we're getting into the topic of how women compete for men and how men compete for women. And if that, and the differences between the two. Because I think that inside the dating market, there is a misunderstanding on how it's decided, a woman is able to attract a man or who she's competing against versus a man and who he's competing against to get or attract a woman. So let's break this down. So essentially, in the dating world, men do not compete against women, but women compete against the options a man has. So the way that really breaks down is while a woman might think for her to herself, while a woman might think to herself that if okay, I have another guy that likes me and another guy likes me, then that has some bearing on her ability to, get the guy that she's looking at that she wants. But that's not really how that works at all. That actually has no bearing on her ability to get the guy that she wants. And when it comes to men, men do not compete for to get the woman's attention directly like that in reverse. For men, a man competes with the world for his success, and that's how he competes for getting a woman. So for a woman, it's and for a man, they're totally different. And I'm going to break both down in terms of why that how that affects things and why that matters and what aspects of that will actually matter when it comes to attracting the opposite sex, because a lot of people sometimes think that that's what it is. Like if a man, some men might think, okay, well, if I get, a certain amount of, if in theory it would probably lay out to be this way, but if he gets like a woman over another guy, it's really about his success in the world. And in the women, it breaks down to something else as well. So we're going to break that whole down and get into it. So it's easier kind of breaking down the aspect of what a man is in competition of versus getting a woman, because it's a lot more simple. Like I said before, it's just him going against society, just being successful. That's really all it is, becoming into the spotlight, being able to walk in a room and commanding the room because of his status, his success, whatever the case is. He's not competing directly against, say, um, you know, how many guys are hitting on a particular woman. Say if he's looking at a particular woman that he likes and a bunch of guys hit on that woman, that has no bearing on if he'll be successful with that woman or not. It doesn't even mean anything. All that matters is him being successful in the world, if that makes sense. And then naturally will follow is the attraction of a woman to that man because he's successful in the world. So the bigger that his success bar is, for lack of a better word, then the more they would be attracted to him. But for the dynamic of women is a lot more complicated. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of women might think that if they're hit on by a lot of men, that that means that the guy they're looking at um, is more likely to like them. And it actually has no correlation, no bearing at all. So there's two ways to really kind of break this down in terms of the age range. So you also have the fact that a woman's competition is actually herself. And what I mean by that is another woman. It's not about with the man, but it's about the other woman. And it's about not directly, like, am I better than the other woman? It's about what that man is able to attract. What are his options? And that's what you're competing against. So, like, if a woman might say, okay, I've got 100 guys hit on me today, but there's a guy I like. Maybe it's a guy I see every day. I walk home from work and I see him every time I pass by the bus stop or whatever the case is. The 100 guys that hit on that woman doesn't increase her ability to get that man. So she might think in her mind that, okay, 100 guys spoke to me today. That means I look good. That means I'm attractive. That means that I can get this particular man I want. But it has no bearing on that. And nor is it a sign that you are considered attractive because 100 guys hit on you. in terms of you could be attractive, but in terms of you getting that particular man. Why? Because his level of attraction to you is based on his options. And so if a man has more options, then his attraction level to you will be less. So if you are, say, 25 years old, and that man will say that he's 35 years old, and he likes you, you're younger than him, you're attractive, you're pretty, you're at your peak, he's going to view you as probably the best option. So if he's able to get you, he's going to view you as the best option. And if you like him, then you'll be able to have him because he likes you. Now, say that you don't like him, then in that case, that's a reflection of the option that he has. If he can't have you and he can't have anyone else who is similar to you in terms of you know uh how good you look, including your age and whatever the case is, because these all play a factor, obviously your health and well-being and those other kind of stuff too, that's all part of the attraction level for a man. Then that sets the bar of what he can have. And so that sets the bar of what he will be attracted to. And that's what every other woman will be competing with who sees him and likes him. So now let's flip the example and say that the woman is 35 years old and the guy's 35 years old. It doesn't matter if she gets hit on by 100 different guys walking down the street. She's now competing with what can that man get? And so if that man can get the 25-year-old, she's competing with that. So what she's competing with is not even physically there in front of her. What she's competing with is not even, doesn't matter that, there could be like a bunch of other girls on the block. You're not even competing against those other girls on the block. You're competing with what that man is capable of getting. If he can't get any of the rest of the girls on that block, you're not even, it doesn't even matter. So you're competing with that, like meaning that there could be a room full of women. If that man is not capable of getting the, the best looking one inside that room or the next best looking one in that room or whatever the case is, then that is determining your ability to get him, if that makes sense. So, like I said, I say that because I know that there's generally this misconception with the idea that if you are hit on a lot, that means you must be attractive. And sometimes there'll be a lot of women who will validate their status or their looks based on how many times they've been hit on, and they'll go, okay, so I must be attractive, so I'm gonna hold out for the guy I want because I must be attractive because a lot of guys hit on me. But like I said, a bunch of guys hitting on you, especially if they're guys who are not at the caliber that you want, doesn't mean anything. It's irrelevant. If 100 guys hit on you that you do not find attractive, it's irrelevant, nor does it have any bearing on the person that you want. Though a lot of people, women have the misconception thinking that that means that they must look pretty because 100 guys hit on them that they didn't want. That means that boosts them to get the person that they actually do want. And like I said, men usually are not foreign to the idea of how it works. Um, if they're not successful in the world. And that generally reflects, because it's not simply just about having money, it's about the way you're going to carry yourself. The way you're going to carry yourself is a reflection of how successful you are. If you're very successful, you're going to carry yourself as so. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have this certain level of this aura about you that all goes along with the picture, because you can't be successful and be someone who's cringy and scared and afraid to be out in the world, afraid to be social. You can't be successful and be that kind of person. So there's almost this all around package that you have to be. And you simply just have to be successful in the world. And that really determines that, and everything else flows with it. And most men are not delusional about that fact. And if they were, life is going to like knock them on their ass and let them know you're not going to get anybody. While it's not always as clear for women, because if a woman can't get the guy she wants, she's always going to be able to get somebody. And that's going to create the delusion that she is still um, attractive. But if you're not attractive to the option you want, then it doesn't matter that you're attractive to people that you don't want at the end of the day. So just a talking point that I want to throw out there. I thought it was a very interesting topic, and just addressing that because I've seen a lot of people talking about this in regards to not really understanding. They don't bring up the point of it like that, but they will talk on the point of maybe not understanding, you know, why maybe a guy at a certain point in his life is not into them, and thinking to themselves, well, I got hit on by a bunch of other guys, so what's wrong with them? There must be something wrong with the guy, not realizing that has no bearing. But anyway, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys be safe out there. I'll catch you guys